Yeah. Week's end. Week's end. It's Friday, July 4th weekend. Woo! Yeah. What up, Ryan?
Hey, what's up, Graham?
You're
What's
looking
up,
very
everybody watching?
you're looking very patriotic, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
rather
like I'm
impressed.
some weird, nerd version of Macho Man Randy Savage or something today.
Yeah, we can do it.
But you know what? It is time for grilling hot dogs, watching fireworks, all that stuff, right?
I love that. Monster trucks, freedom fries. Love
Freedom
it.
fries,
It's
nice.
great. It'll
You
be
know what? I
perfect.
still call them French fries because I want to thank the great people of France for bringing us the Statue of Liberty, right? I mean, know your history.
Yes, 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 exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Did my
Well,
mom just start texting me again? Am I back in this pattern where every time we get on the show, my mother is going to start texting me? I
I
bet
feel
that's what
like
it
yeah,
is.
it's like she knows.
It's
She
like she
knows. I
knows.
think
It's
your
like,
mom wants
Mom,
to be on the show.
I think mom wants to be on the show. You do? Okay. That's tempting. I might. But I got to warn you, if we do that, she's going to tell you the disgusting story about how I came to be in this world, and nobody wants to. I have to hear it every year. You don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
about
It's like
my
a rite
parents
of
going to a
passage.
party in Nantucket. You don't want to hear it. You want to hear it. Let's just get to the agenda. What do we got to talk about today, buddy?
All right. Well, I just wanted to start out. Love putting on all
Americana.
my gear every year. We've got the
Mm,
house all decorated. We're ready for
hmm
July 3rd fireworks tonight.
hmm
I think
hmm
you have another shout out though,
hmm
which
hmm
you're getting ready for.
Which I'm trying to get ready for it here. But what about Canada
Yeah,
Day?
Canada Day.
Boots and pants
Yeah,
and
I think
boots
it's
and pants
Canada
and
Day
boots and
A,
pants
right?
and boots. Canada Day, eh? Whoa! Now, where did I get this flag? I bet you're wondering. This
Uh,
massive, amazing flag. It was actually given to me by my friend Barnaby Wheatcroft Bosanquet. That's actually
what?
his name.
Wait, say
No,
that
his
name
name.
again for everybody who
Bar.
missed.
I'm completely serious. This really is his name. Barnaby
Uh huh.
Wheatcroft Bosanquet. That I'm not joking. That's his name. And he was in the Coast Guard, and he went on a tour mission,
Oh man!
sail, a ship. I don't know what they call it, but he went out on one of them boat things. And
Shout
I
out to
asked him.
Barnaby.
I asked him to bring me back something special. I thought he was going to bring me a toilet seat, but instead he brought me this amazing flag, which I believe they actually flew on the ship once. And I've
Yeah.
had it ever since. And every time I go to camp, I bring it to camp and put it up. And it's looking a little tired and haggard, but that's a good thing. I've used it a
No,
lot.
that's a good thing, and I like that. I like when you get a flag that's not from a big box store and it
Ah,
comes from
so
someone who
nice.
served is awesome. Like the American flag we have flying outside our house right now was actually on a flagpole in Afghanistan,
Really?
and
That is
so there's a company that they recycle those flags quite often, and then some folks, a friend of mine who a veteran who just works in he actually works in IT like us now,
oh,
but his main client is Centcom, so he brought me a flag.
wow.
So
Anyway, wanted to show that to you.
you've got the most giant flag.
I have a giant flag.
I've got the tiniest hat,
But
and
is
I'm
the
trying.
hat tiny, or do you just have a giant head?
Well, I've got a
Iron
giant.
minds want to
I've
know.
I've definitely got a
That's how
giant
truth.
noggin, but the problem
Truth.
is I'm trying to use this to cover up my the hair spot here. I don't know if it's successful or not. That's
Sure.
okay.
We'll go with
No,
sure.
no, we're just gonna say no comment and move on.
We'll go with sure.
So let's show. I just wanted to give a quick shout out because
My air
we
conditioner. Thank you, air conditioner.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So check this
Oh,
out.
I took that picture.
This is the photo that I think maybe
Oh,
you shared on the Camp Dakota Twitter.
I did. Well, I mean, they did. Nobody
Yeah.
knows it's actually me, but I
Right.
took this photo. So this is a really special photo. This was several years ago. I was doing my annual volunteer week at camp. I specialize in working with the littlest kids who have never been to a sleepaway camp before. So it's usually me as what's called a cabin dad, an actual parent, accompanying two highly qualified, but much younger leaders, and we get 10 to 12 kids and Whew, it's a challenge. But this was early morning on July 4th. I gave these kids these capes to flags to wear as capes. They ran around with them all day, but they were standing together at one point. They're actually getting ready to run. So they were kind of telling each other, like, ready, one, two. And I just happened to catch them striking the Superman pose with the sun in front of them. And
that's so awesome.
It's just a great photo.
You can see the look in the kid's eye. He's like, it's time.
It's time. It's time. That's
time.
Right.
You know what? I've got one for you. This is my son.
Look at that. That's great.
This is my son, I want to say from 2014-ish. And I think this wasn't July 4th. He is wearing the hat. This is the flag that I was talking about that we fly outside.
Oh, wow. That's great.
But this was, I think this was when we were watching the World Cup and we were rooting for the women's national team.
Now, is behind him, which one of the kitchens is that in your mansion? Because I know you live in a mansion. So is that the third or fourth kitchen?
This is the fourth floor.
Fourth floor kitchen.
Kitchen B.
The kitchenette. It's just the small one.
Right.
The staff works in the big kitchen.
Tell me about this picture.
Oh, I love this picture. So this is, if you have not seen the movie The Great Escape from, better Google this real quick. I don't want to say the wrong thing. From, I think it's 63. Yep, 1963. Yep. You have to see this movie. Okay, first of all, it's an absolute classic war film. It's one of my top films. It's one of the movies I watch every year on, in the Independence Day weekend. But there's a great scene where it's actually July 4th and they're all in this German prison camp, and the Americans put together this opportunity to actually distill some booze. And it's this great scene where they're all drinking. They're like, whoa, because it's so strong. And they have this little American independence scene, but great film. If you haven't seen it, you can see Steve McQueen there. I mean, it's just a great movie. So highly recommended. One of those movies I watch every year. What do you watch every year?
You know what? I got my old standard. I know it's a cheese fest, but it's ID4 Independence Day with Will Smith and.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Hello, boys! I'm back.
The president giving his speech. We will not go quietly into. Yeah, it's super cheesy, but there's something about it. I love action movies. I love sci-fi, just like you, and it is the perfect synthesis. My favorite scenes are actually between Will Smith, who's a fighter pilot, and his wingman, Harry Connick Jr. I just love the fact that they cast Harry Connick Jr. in a, I guess, dramatic role. It's kind of, it's really cool.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I too love that movie. Have you ever noticed in that movie when they go to the top of a building and they're like, "Welcome, aliens, come for us"? Have you ever noticed they're on an IBM building?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that, but you're right. That is awesome.
There's a sort of a sweeping shot of a skyline. You see a bunch of people on top of an IBM building. I'm thinking to myself, first of all, that's just bullshit, because IBM security badges would never let you get on the roof. So the whole thing is a lie. And that was it. A movie was ruined for me forever. That's it. That's Graham's rant for the week.
Throne of lies.
That's it. It's a throne of lies. That's my rant for the week. The scene where the IBMers are on top of the building in Independence Day.
You know what? That's
just a load of shit.
That's descriptive of a lot of things, I think, this week. But here's something. That's a nice
segue.
It's a nice pivot. Let's talk about IBM for a minute.
Let's talk about IBM, because we are blue through and through. I love it. So this is a really cool thing. This guy, and you can follow him on Twitter as well. If you close that for a second, it says it, Ryan.
Okay.
It's like a number 6 something.
Oh yeah.
6502B. So you can. Well, that's his Insta, I guess, but he's also on Twitter. My point is this individual is remarkable. So he makes these handmade, built from nothing, from scratch, miniatures, and he's built a miniature IBM System 360 mainframe and an IBM data center, and the detail is remarkable. I mean,
in fact,
if you look close, now hold on that for a second. That see those punched cards.
Yep.
I actually have an actual IBM punched card here. So this is the actual size of the IBM punch cards. These are called salmon cards.
Hey, show that back up on the screen again. I zoomed in for you. There we go.
You can actually see it says, I don't know, you won't be able to, maybe you won't be, but it says IBM right there. Nah, my camera doesn't want to show you. But anyway, the detail on these things is extraordinary. And one of the things that I would really like to do is see if there's a way that we can get part or all of it, and have our boy Max there put it into the IBM corporate archives, because this is extraordinary work. There you go. You can actually see the salmon cards right there. See them?
Love it. It's so incredible.
I mean, what's amazing is they don't even look like miniatures. They look like he shot an actual 360.
I love this.
With a weird lens that made it look miniature. I mean, look at that.
This is actually my favorite photo at the moment, because it's not. I love the detailed shots, but this is like showing you in the office.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's real good use of a portrait shot there. And look at it. Look at the hand. For scale, right? It's just, I don't know, man. This stuff blew me away, and it's being talked about all across the board at IBM. So really.
So the
cool
IBM, actually, the IBM Twitter account, I think, shared the story this morning. So you can check that out at IBM on Twitter.
Doing the social.
Yeah. All right.
What's next? What do we got?
I want to pivot. So you and I work together at IBM. That's not a secret. We also work with a gentleman, a really talented visual designer, Pete Nelson.
So talented.
And so you sort of had the genesis of this idea to take some of the propaganda posters from World War II and turn those into something positive, or really, give some humor for all the folks that are sort of dealing with this new mode of working, remote working, work from home. And we call it hashtag work from home, WFH life, of course. We created a series of propaganda posters, and I thank you for letting me collaborate with you and Pete as well. But
it's great. I couldn't do it without you guys. No way.
We came out with a couple of different sets of these. And this week, after a little bit of a delay, we came out with Wave 3. So we're
3, baby.
So I'm going
to bring them up. Bring them up. These are a lot of fun. So the not only are the posters fun, but the process of making them has been a lot of fun. So we get to research original. It's a kind of a fun little side project, So we research original World War II or actually just war propaganda. They're not even necessarily World War II, by the way, but we research war propaganda posters, and then we take the original posters, we collaborate on what the modern copy will be, and then we start showing them. So take us through them, Ryan, and we just have a lot of fun. Oh, this one's great. I mean, just look at that.
I love this.
When you're out, put it on without a doubt.
The masks of victory.
I love that. I love it. It's so good.
This next one's one of my personal favorites, and I guess everybody, when we talk about people that love to CC all on every email that you've ever received.
But look at that. One of the things that I really loved about Pete's work on this is look at the detail of the way he made the guy. I mean, he's perfectly holding the cell phone, right? But he matched the color of the phone and the shadowing and everything to the mail bag.
It's incredible.
Like, that is just. I mean, I know that. From a design standpoint, okay, fine, and maybe that's not that big of a deal. But it's the thought process behind Pete's work in these designs that I just love it.
Pete's not playing around. I love this one. Hello, am I off mute?
Am I sharing my screen? Even Lady Liberty gets a little.
I mean, these are the common, tropes or memes or whatever you want to call it from every day of being on either Zoom or WebEx or. Yep. Or whatever your collaboration platform is.
Yep.
I especially liked this one. A lot of these have to do with during the war, sort of doing your part to, remain productive or to produce things. And this is awesome when you talk about honestly, how are we productive in this new digital only work environment?
But did you see how he put the See the guy at the lathe or whatever it is, and he's holding the cell phone, and again the
Yep.
phone matches the device. I just love it. The
Love it.
design work and the attention to detail is just awesome. Oh, this was your idea. Now you share this one. I love this one.
Well, this one to me, this is I mean, there's always been the talk of like making that bread, but what we did was we twisted it because baking more bread is honestly, there were so many people that were sort of, in quarantine or in shelter in place or working from home, or even with their kids, they were baking bread nonstop and learning how to bake things, frankly.
And talking about it. It was all over social. Everybody was like, I'm dealing with quarantine, but I'm making bread. And meanwhile, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm going to go to the store. But it was it's a phenomena, and everybody loves it. So it was a lot of fun.
So I want to show you, there's two versions of this next poster. I probably showed the wrong one first, but this one, I love this one.
Didn't we have the idea of calling him like Sergeant Craps a lot or something? I mean, it was something super childish. Probably. And Pete was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Well, Pete,
that one's good too.
Pete is an awesome designer and the unlikely voice of reason.
He's very, very much a voice of reason for us. Today, join the call early.
These are
the story of my life.
So everybody, Graham put this out on Twitter.
Yeah.
I put it out on LinkedIn. Please go check it out. I think Graham even put out a link with a box folder where you can see all of the posters and download them. Print them out, put them up in your home office, show them to your friends, your colleagues, your boss.
Yeah.
Our team.
And by the way, important point to note, so not only did we share this week's and the link to the previous two sets, and on LinkedIn we shared the link to all of them, and I'll retweet that as well. But here's the thing, like, we don't want any credit. We don't care. We just want people to have fun. We know everybody's struggling. We know everybody's feeling stuck at home. We know a lot of our colleagues who work in tech or are remote workers are living this like sitting on our computers and on WebEx or Zoom or Teams or whatever you use all day every day, and it's just too much. Now this.
Tell me about this.
Okay.
This is like super nerd alert time.
So this is super nerd alert. So I follow Ed Solomon on Twitter at Ed Solomon. If you don't, you got to follow Ed. Okay, so Ed is, besides just generally an all-around awesome dude, and a totally like one of us, just everyday kind of person in all the right ways. But he's also the writer of Bill and Ted, co-writer of Bill and Ted, I believe, and wrote things like Men in Black, and so he's a really accomplished, awesome writer, and I love his work. I remember distinctly being at the opening nights for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Men in Black, and movies like that. So anyway, big fan. I'm not going to gush too much. But the other day he was making this joke that he was trying to get more. He was trying to reach 3 million followers or something, and he's got like, I don't know, tens of thousands, but nowhere near millions. So he made this funny joke that he's like, only 2,950,000 to go or something like that. So because I knew we were going to be releasing our propaganda posters, and I was sort of thinking about it, I just took a few minutes and I made this poster for Ed. Let's all follow Ed for freedom, and because we have nothing better to do during quarantine. Yeah. And I sent it to Ed. I replied to his tweet, and I was just like, I'm doing my part. And he retweeted it and wrote, "Some patriots are doing their part. Thank you, Graham Knows, for your service." And I put that awesome GIF where she's doing this thing and below it. And what was really cool is, and I'm humble bragging here, but then I got a follow from Ed. I don't think it'll last very long because my tweeting is prolific and probably gets annoying, and I turn away more people than I gain. But it was just kind of a little personal victory, and and I really enjoyed that. But the thing is, Ed's politics are fascinating. Ed's insight into movies is fascinating. He shares information about the writing process. So if you like movies, writing, Bill and Ted, definitely. He also shares like his original notes from movies that he worked on, letters that he wrote. And it's just a fascinating insight. And the incredible part is it's not at all what you think it is. These are normal people working really, really hard. It's not some glorified, ridiculous Hollywood prop. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just Ed's case. But anyway, enough on Ed. Follow him. Great follow. You learn a lot. And I really enjoy and appreciate his tweeting because he puts a lot of thought and effort into it. And it counts.
No, I'm with you. And that's a great point. So I love seeing.
Wait, here we go. So follow Ed for freedom. Freedom.
Click.
That was a little creepy. That was a bit much. Sorry, Ed.
Well,
now you can unfollow.
We're going to allow it. And you know what? They are, real people. That's what I love.
They're real people.
I love meeting people that make things. I love people that are. I just love the creativity factor. So whenever I meet people like Ed, it's always excellent because I just want to understand how things kind of how things get done, and it's not always on purpose. And sometimes it's a spark, or it's just people working together and riffing. So it's
he even goes into how the origin of Bill and Ted and how it started as a skit. He shares some really interesting insights and in how it changed over time, and it's really interesting. And let me go ahead and give the plug right now. Bill and Ted 3, Bill and Ted Face the Music is coming soon. If you haven't seen the trailer, see it, because first of all, it's just so great to see my old friends Bill and Ted back together again, right? Oh, yeah. It's so much fun to see Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves back in it. Yes. Death is there. Their daughters are in it, which is just so fantastic. The whole thing looks like it's going to be a blast. And honestly, this isn't one of those movies where I have established unrealistic expectations and then I feel like, there's a risk of me being let down. I don't care, because that's not what these films are about. These films are about having fun, facing the music, man. And I just think it looks really, really cool. So if you haven't seen it yet, see the trailer for Bill and Ted 3 or Bill and Ted Face the Music. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. So
already on.
We always talk about toys, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. You found a really interesting story that we cannot ignore, I think.
Oh, yes.
There's something about a crossover of some kind between Transformers does this quite a bit.
They do.
There's a lot of Transformers toys throughout the years, and they do things like this. But this one's near and dear to your heart because it's a crossover with Back to the Future.
Where did that come from? Oh my God, who did that?
And if you weren't watching our show before now, or you missed last week's, you'll remember that we actually showed off the Playmobil DeLorean and the Lego DeLorean.
I sort of remember that.
And they're awesome.
I mean, maybe, kind of. I don't know. It rings a bell.
So, what do you think of the name? Is perfect. Gigawatt.
I know. So this is the second one that I'm aware of that they did recently. They did another one where they did a Ghostbusters, and they did an Ecto-1 Transformer, which is amazing. My friend Kevin has it on display in his office, and it looks awesome. But they're doing Gigawatt. They're doing this one, and he's got like a little you can find pictures of it on Twitter. He's got a little flux capacitor right in his chest, like right where the, what's it called? Matrix of leadership would be. And it's just fun. I mean, it's not something I'm interested in. It's not something I'm probably going to buy. I mean, whatever. It's just it's cool, I guess. I
mean, you're welcome to skip this one. I'm ordering one for my desk and one to keep in the box.
One for my bedside table. Right. But Back to the Future, man, came out today.
35 years ago, folks. Yes. This is, we've been talking about this film and in little different ways on the show for weeks, and here we are.
Look at that. It was interesting. I read a theory today. Well, it's not a theory. They're actually trying to prove it. But Eric Stoltz originally played the part of Marty McFly, and was later replaced by oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Michael. Oh my God, dude, help me out here. I'm having like a senior moment. What? How did you get
Michael J. Fox, right?
Michael J. Fox? Thank you. I was having a senior moment there. Anyway, so apparently there's like brief flashes of Eric Stoltz. There's a scene where they're on the hoverboards.
Are you talking about the Nerdist movie? I mean, the Nerdist article.
Yes, yeah. So I guess there's a couple of shots where it actually is where he punches Biff. That's actually Eric Stoltz doing it. So, and I never knew that. I thought all that footage was gone. I had no idea they used any of it, and I found that to be really, really interesting. That there actually possibly is a couple of frames. We're not talking scenes here. Frames where it's Eric Stoltz. So, I mean, I love this movie. I love these movies. You know. But it is that was actually an interesting thing, realizing that thing about the shirt that you just showed.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. You're right. I just love Easter eggs in general, and even sometimes maybe they're not intentional, but hey, with time travel, anything is possible, right?
And you know, the creators of movies, writers, people like Ed Solomon and others, you know, Robert Zemeckis, obviously that did this film. These people work really hard to put these subtle little things in, knowing that it could take days, weeks, months, years, decades before they're found, and they're just a lot of fun. I know. Look at what is that stupid outfit I'm wearing?
So here's what I want to talk about
with
here.
Me there?
This is what I want to say is that you and I were working on organizing a conference for the Internet of Things for a lot of our IBM clients, and it was supposed to take place in March in Orlando, of course, and we were going to be showing a tech demo inside a real live DeLorean with a demo that actually used the time travel display to have engineers add another, I guess, dimension or another like actual knob, I guess, to the time travel, you know, when you change the time about where you're going. We were going to add location to that as an engineering requirement using our IBM product. So I just wanted to, I know we couldn't do that. And because of the pandemic, we had to cancel those plans, but here's the picture, man. Tell me about this. When did you get inside the DeLorean?
This was many years ago. I was at a conference. Man, I don't even remember what show it was. It was a long time ago.
We can zoom in your badge, maybe. Nope. Yeah. Oh, almost.
Almost.
That's okay.
But it was a long time ago. It was in the background. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it was probably
we just need to marvel at young Graham, you know.
In that stupid outfit. Like, what the hell was I wearing? I don't know.
So
anyway, it was fun to see the DeLorean. If you were to
take the time machine right then and there, what would you tell your future self? I think that's the question we need to be answering. If you were to jump in the time machine at that moment and jump to now, what would young Graham say?
I would immediately walk up to me and say, hey, this is a time machine. Use it to skip 2020.
There we go.
Now,
I think it's like one of those paradox things or something.
It is. Now, what's really cool is about that show, I actually got to meet Michael J. Fox, and I got to talk to him. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, actually passed away from Parkinson's, which Michael J. Fox has, and he does a lot of work for Parkinson's research and fundraising. And I got to have a really interesting talk with him about my grandmother. And I had asked my mother, you know, I may get a chance to meet Michael J. Fox, and if I do, what do you want me to ask him? You want me to something about Granny? And she just said, no, just tell him thanks for his hard work and tell him to keep it up. And that's what I did. And then we ended up having a conversation, and it was pretty cool.
That is awesome. Okay, we're gonna keep with the time traveler theme.
Oh, this guy's so good. This guy needs his own show.
And here's what I want to do. Hang on, I'm gonna wait till it loops. I want to play it for everybody. It's just about 30 seconds long. But Jeff Wright is a comedian, and if you don't know about him yet, I don't know where you've been. He's done some really cool TikTok comedy videos.
Yeah. Is this 2020? What? The year. Is this the year 2020? Yeah. Oh, okay. Where the flying cars at? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from the past. We made a time machine by accident. Really? Yeah, I was trying to build something you can heat up food without fire. A microwave? Microwave? That's not bad. Hey, Joe Jack, what you think about the name microwave? No, that's stupid. I'm telling you, we're going to call it hot box and we're going to be some hot boxes. Hey, no, I like boxes. Keep it brief. I don't know. Hey, if this is the future, where's everybody at? We're not allowed to go outside. Oh, because of slavery, huh? I knew it. See, Joe Jack, I told you we weren't free. Good. It was lying. I knew it. Oh, no, we free. It's not slavery. Okay, so we all equal, huh? I mean, we still oppressed. I tried to tell you. All right, we're going to try a different year. Hey, Joe Jack, start the machine. Okay, yeah, I just got to find it first. It's invisible. How we going to... I found it.
Dude, I love Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright, I know you're never going to watch this, but you are a genius.
You are a genius, my friend. You really are. I love your content.
I love it so much. And the other one that I want to get everybody to direct there were two other ones that I really love. One, he impersonated all the different personas as if Social Networks were like, you know, kind of like the Pixar movie, right?
Dude, when MySpace came out, I felt so old.
Crazy. Yeah. And then he did his original one, which I think was probably his kind of breakout moment that went viral, was the one about aliens. So it's just,
that was the first one I saw.
Out Jeff Wright at Jeff Wright, and that's WRIGHT on Twitter.
Love it.
Alrighty. This is some cool stuff, man.
It is cool stuff.
You know what?
Dude, we're cool stuff.
There was
cool stuff.
There's one other thing here that we talk about what we've been watching. And there was one particular, I keep getting these ads from Shudder, which is like a subscription service for horror movies. And there's a music video. I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube, trying to find clips. And I found this crazy
deep hole, my friend. It's a deep hole.
Turbo Killer.
Oh yeah, I know Turbo.
You know what I'm talking about. It's not a new video, but it seems like the new series on Shudder. It's like a mini series. It's literally taking the concept of that psychedelic, you know, cyberpunk music video, Turbo Killer, and turning it into a full-blown series called Blood Machines, and that's on Shudder. Now, what that led me to is Kung Fury. You remember Kung Fury?
Of course I remember Kung Fury. It's got like 35 million views. It's a great 30-minute movie.
Right. So the reason I bring it up is because
Hackerman is like my hero.
Well, what I realized is that you keep posting GIFs, and so do I, about there's like a nerdy guy putting on the glove from
Hackerman,
the power glove.
Yeah.
And what I didn't remember is that that's actually a character in this film. It's mind blowing. So Hackerman. Shout out to Hackerman. And if you haven't seen Kung Fury, or you must watch it again, go to the Laser Unicorns on YouTube and find the movie. Great
30-minute movie. And I love when the arcade machine comes to life and is like flipping everybody off, but then he tires and he has to punch out a parking meter and like rip out the coins and eat one. Or the guy that flips the car over just by putting his skateboard underneath it. Just top-notch comedy, man.
Totally. All
right, what's next?
All right, this is going to make
we got to keep it moving here. You got to keep it going. It's Kung Fury. Keep it moving, Ryan.
All right.
I have no idea what I just did. I'm embarrassed for myself, truly.
So a couple of major things happened in the Avett world this week, and I bring it up. I'm going
to sit down for this one because this is probably going to take a while. So you go ahead. You go ahead.
In a world. So the Avett Brothers are a band that my wife and I may be obsessed with, and we follow around the country.
What? No, I didn't know that. That's breaking news to me.
The two core members are actual brothers. They live in Concord, North Carolina. They released a music video for one of the songs from their latest album. And it's very timely. That's why I'm bringing it up. And also the art in the video itself is animation that is done by an artist that I believe went to school
Ooh.
with the leads or one of the brothers, Scott. And the art just throughout this entire video is incredible. And it's telling a story because we Americans, without sort of verbatim going into the lyrics, is a lot about learning about our history, learning about our mistakes, being patriotic, but yet recognizing that, recognizing slavery, recognizing that American soil was taken from Indians or from Native Americans. And so it really, is a wonderful song. It's a patriotic song. I think it's fitting for July 4th. I don't think it was an accident that they made this video and put it out this week. And so I just think it's wonderful. So check it out.
Wow, that's really cool, Ryan. Beautiful art. Love
and
it.
the art, there's a tweet where one of the super fans of the band is a guy named Tim Mossberger, and he's created a monthly magazine where he just collects. He calls himself Avett Archivist on Twitter, and he's been collecting things, and he's interviewing people for a magazine. And this month, he interviews the artists that created all of this. So it's really cool stuff, and a lot of the scenery are actual locations, either in North Carolina or around the country, in St. Louis and other places, right?
Love it.
So it's really cool stuff. Really thought provoking. I want to pivot because one day later, they announced a new album called The Gleam 3, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's the third. It's like an EP, right? It's not a full blown album. But it is something where they also released a video to explain. I'm not going to go into what they say, but they essentially released a video the next day to talk about where we are as a country and how, they made this record 3 months ago, and now they're just very thoughtful guys in a way. And so for them to talk about sort of where we are and what it means is it's crazy, right? Because they've been stuck at home. They're not touring. Yeah. All of us that are at home are searching for, new music, new entertainment, new projects to help our communities, new ways to help people that need help. And to me, this music is a shot in the arm, in that way.
You know what, Ryan? You're a thoughtful guy. I love you, brother. True, though.
Oh, man. Well,
the
album comes out in August. Shameless plug. If you want to learn more about the art itself, go check out Tim Mossberger and his Patreon magazine. It's like a zine. Do you remember zines back in the day where people would create these little magazines and they were all handmade and they would hand them out?
Nope. That must have been some weird thing you Southerners did that we did not do up here in the civilized Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Life is different up here. So it's we're a little bit more advanced.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
our electricity comes from fusion reactors. Really? We don't have any guns. It's a nice place up here.
Okay.
I'm sorry. All right. I took that too far too quickly. All right. Ryan's like, let me get back to talking about my coal and guns. All right. Tiny hat.
Tiny hat alert.
I do love the tiny hat. Anything else? What else we got?
Put this on. But anyhow, that's all I have for today. What do you got? What else you got, Graham?
You didn't let me talk about my Nike Vandals.
Oh my gosh. I knew I was forgetting something. Please talk about your shoes.
Look at these Nike Vandals. So this is I fancy myself a bit of a sneakerhead. And this is a pair of original Nike Vandals, the Nike Metallic Red. I don't know, had some weird name. I don't know. And I bought these. Now, you may recognize the Vandals. If they were black and white and gray, they would be the same sneakers that Kyle Reese stole and wore in Terminator. And ever since I saw the movie in the 80s, I've been obsessed with those sneakers. I've always wanted to get them. And finally, I found a website called The Goat, I think, and they actually sell these. I did a Twitter poll where I was like, there's a blue pair, a red pair, a light blue pair, and a white pair. And I had people give me input on what they thought I should get. And everybody told me to get the blue pair, so I completely ignored everyone for some unusual reason, and my family got me these for Father's Day, which I thought was super nice. And now I have my own pair. There's two of them, by the way, not just the one. And now I have these Nike Vandals. They fit perfectly. I'm so happy. But I'll only wear them on special occasions.
Well, you know what you should have done.
I don't know. I had to share them with you because they're
cool. They're cool. So I guess we need like a "Who Are You Wearing" segment in our show now for this kind of stuff. But you know what you should have done.
It's not a bad idea. But I'll be wearing.
You should have bought two
Nike
pairs
Vandals
in two different colors, and then you could do that thing like wasn't there like a fad in the '80s where like people wore different colors of the same shoe?
Again, I think that's just weird stuff you guys did down there. So what I did do is I went and got an Adidas tracksuit to wear with them. But look, we don't have to go there. We don't have to go there.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I'm going. There actually is a hip hop version of Graham that doesn't come out very often. It doesn't know shit about the music.
Right. But every once in a while, I don't know what kind of bling you got, but I'm challenging you to a bling off on a future episode.
I was just inspired by Eggsy not my dog Eggsy, but the Eggsy in the Kingsman, and I don't know. It's nerd stuff, dude. That's all I got.
Well, let's talk about this. I recognize the shirt that you're wearing, and I love it, and I'm angry that I didn't buy one. But let's give a shout out to Super7 for your shirt.
So I wear this shirt because I know it upsets you, and I just like to trouble you from time to time. So you and I were in San Francisco for I don't know whatever show we were there for, walking around, and one of the things that Ryan and I do when we travel for work is we plot all the nerd and toy and comic book stores for any city, anywhere in the world that we go to. Doesn't matter where we are, we're going to find them because honestly, they exist everywhere and it's just great. So we were in San Francisco. We went to Super7, and we were buying toys, and they had all kinds of really cool stuff. But they had this T-shirt, and I love Robotech, and eventually I want to get a. So what's interesting about this is a Maycross jet, but you may. Oh, Ryan, I love how you're just ready over there to show toys.
Oh yeah.
But this actually, if you look at it closely, it also looks like Jetfire, the original Generation 1 Jetfire from Transformers, because a lot of the original Transformers were other toys that they took and repurposed and rebranded and repackaged as Transformers, and this Maycross Jetfire is one of them. So one of my bucket list items in life is to get an original Generation 1 Jetfire or Maycross and put it on display on the beloved toy museum shelf behind me. So anyway, that's where I get. This is going
to kill you, but that is my second most favorite Transformer ever.
Okay, and I hope your first is Optimus.
My best friend in elementary school, when I was in elementary school, middle school, my best friend had one. I have no idea where it is now, but
I check all the time. I mean, they're not hard to find.
Yeah, they're
either broken, yellowed, missing pieces, or so astronomically expensive. And my thing is, I'm cool with remakes. I don't need to have yes, I would love to have an original Generation 1 Optimus Prime. Yes, I would love to. Super7
remakes things.
Super7
if you're listening. So
here's got some Transformers, baby.
Here's also one thing I think we have to do is give a special shout out to Annbot on Twitter, because she's the one that actually suggested we go to the Super7 store. So thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Ann. That's all I got for this week, buddy. Oh, you've got a Xenomorph.
Well, this was what I got at the Super7 store: two Japanese alien action figures.
Didn't you get You got a droid too, which I totally regretted not buying.
Here's the brand, the official.
That's the company brand. Reaction.
It's called. Well, this is Super7, and then they call it their reaction figures.
Yes. Yeah. So if you actually go to super7.com.
I don't know who made this shirt, but I just love it. Let's all be cool. Now let's all just be cool.
Just be cool.
Let's be cool. So everybody, that's my advice for the week. It's 93 today in Wake Forest, North Carolina. I know it's going to be a nice long holiday weekend, everybody, for many of you celebrating July 4th. Enjoy what you're enjoying. Enjoy family. Enjoy moments. Enjoy everything. Enjoy the fact that we got to a week's end, and let's all be cool.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Have a good weekend. And boots and